Good day to all of you. We all know that returning the death penalty is a difficult and controversial issue because it is a crime. And if we are talking about crime, then there is a punishment. If found guilty, punishment is a must. The death penalty is a state-sanctioned punishment of executing an individual for a specific crime. Since the Philippines is a crime-prone country, the reinstatement of the death penalty would help the crime rate stay low. For us to avoid the crime, we need to reinstate the idea that the death penalty should re-enter in a crime-prone country like the Philippines.
As we all know, most Filipinos don't support the idea of reintroducing the death penalty in the country because they believe that it violates the most basic human right, which is the right to live. Also, bringing the death penalty back would make Filipinos angry because according to Conde 2020, the death sentence is intrinsically brutal and irreversible. Human Rights Watch condemns it in all situations. In addition, it harms the Philippines since it will make people protest to the government. Conde 2020 states that more blood will be spilled if the death penalty is implemented. Despite this, the reintroduction of death penalty would help innocent people, bring justice, and lessen crime rates and criminals. People don't have the right to ruin someone's life. So what? They're not allowed to get punished for what they deserve? Crime here, crime there? According to Ojige and Sobradil 2019, respondents support the death penalty as it reduces violent tendencies and make offenders incapable of committing more horrific acts, justifying it due to frequent violence. It will serve as a warning for anyone planning to conduct crimes against the law. The crime responsible should take responsibility.
In this case, death penalty should be reinstated in the Philippines to provide justice, provide an efficient means of outlawing illegal activity, to provide a fitting punishment, and allow people to make informed decisions and reduce confusion. According to Limpo 2020, the necessity of combating the nation's drug problem and underlined that the government's efforts to do so well depend heavily on the death penalty. In addition to this, the high number of reported extrajudicial killings that occurred during the nation's anti-illegal drug campaign, coupled with the killings' apparently impunity, may have given rise to the misconception that the campaign was successful in ending the drug problem and reduced the overall number of drug users and criminals in the nation. Dianla et al. 2020. Ojege and Sobradil 2019 stated that reintroducing the death penalty in the Philippines will benefit the nation's political development since it will provide other nations death sentence for offenders, both domestic and international, who are found guilty of crimes same standing. The death penalty is compelled by laws pertaining to narcotics, justice, public order, the rule of law, and the necessity of rationalizing harmonizing the criminal penalties for serious crimes. With this in mind, death penalty should be implemented once more in the Philippines for justice to prevail, for criminals to be effectively outlawed, for appropriate punishments to be carried away from people who make informed decisions, and for there to be less unstable circumstances. With this declaration, the death penalty is acknowledged as a viable and beneficial remedy for the current situation. The death penalty sentence may have benefits for us, and these benefits will undoubtedly be beneficial to us.
Apparently, the death penalty should be strongly reinstated in the Philippines, and everyone agrees, especially the Congress of the Philippines, who wants to establish the law so the existence of safety and assurance for each citizen will be provided. As we can see, criminals have strong evidence against him, specifically for conducting such crimes. He must receive such punishment. In general, reintroducing the death penalty will put the legal system in jails and surpass the court's ability to fairly prosecute each case they have, particularly with far-reaching consequences for the standards of justice rendered, according to Dengla et al. 2020. Additionally, Future studies should deal with the cause of variables like political will and strong performance rating of the present administration, and their effect on the will-like acceptance of the reimposition of the death penalty, Ochig and Sobradil 2019. Also, if the courts bring back the death penalty in the nation, it is to implement even the death penalty, which is the harshest penalty available to deter murders and people in general who will need justice without a doubt. The reasoning behind this issue is that if the murderer is given a death penalty, the other would be think twice or thrice before committing the same crime or the most heinous crimes, fearing for their own lives to clear their position. Dela et al. 2020. The death penalty should be acceptable in society to protect one's life and property living in a place where harmony leads, criminality will be suppressed. Through death penalty, criminals prevented, it reduced the outlaw offenders. Both church leaders and the government have openly decided to implement this capital punishment in our country.
The death penalty must be reintroduced for guilty criminals since rehabilitation and imprisonment are no longer sufficient to solve or reduce the high number of crimes. According to Dana et al. 2020, the death penalty advocates in the nation's use the death penalty's ability to discourage crime as justification for supporting it. This means that bringing the death penalty back would have benefits. In addition to that, Ochige and Sobradil 2019 stated that the death sentence was thought to serve as a deterrent that would eventually lead to more stable and long-lasting economic operations by fostering peace and order throughout the nation. Death sentence offenders and convicted criminals are likely to receive life imprisonment, increasing the number of people in prison and causing unnecessary public fund expenditure. In short, since some prisoners will live their life in prison, their basic needs would be just a waste after they pass away. The country could have used the funds for more durable and stable economic activities for a better environment. If they consider changing, why not earlier before they commit the crime? In some cases, life imprisonment is not worth it.
After all is said and done, this topic discuss the reinstating of the death penalty in the Philippines. To give the emphasis in this article, the crime rate will keep rising if there's no way to stop people carrying out their actions. Death penalty punishment should be established substantially in the law of the Philippines. Moreover, criminals would likely consider not committing the crime in the country. Although life in the prison can truly serve as a deterrent for some people, this is insufficient too. Another option available to prosecutors should be to defer from a range of penalties to lower the crime rates, subsequently at this time.